Good day, one ghoul thing fans. Wait, sorry. Good thing. One good thing. Fans. Good's here. The easy one. Paul Salt is yet again locking himself in bathrooms intentionally in order to sue the last independent cinemas out of business. So while he's unscrewing the hinges and replacing the knobs for wasps, here's a little recording of the two of us back when we were friends. Except we recorded it at the weekend and just pretended it was that heady summer of 2112 or 12. Back when we both still watched the movies we claimed to. Have some of this.
Hello and welcome to The One Quick Thing, the podcast that does not suffer in silence. I'm Paul Puritan.
I've made me fall in love with you.
Effortlessly.
Yeah, it happens every time.
I'm still locked in a cinema basement, in the bathroom though, so let's squeeze in another quick thing.
Yeah, it's where you write all your reviews. You just got to find one.
You gotta find the nug. Review the bathroom, the film.
By which you mean the bathroom.
Toilet. Yeah. Not as wretched as the previous one. It is time for our penultimate, our Eve of the Gorehouse Greats. It is 1976's Satan's Slave.
Camilla York. She is to blame, Catherine, for everything.
And how do you know I'll be bored out of my mind?
Well, spending a week with an uncle you've never even met.
Catherine, no.
Yeah.
Starring Alfred. Oh God.
Alfred Michael Gough.
Oh God, yes. Satan's Slave, aka Evil Heritage, if you want a title that makes more sense.
It's not as catchy though, is it?
It's not as catchy as Satan's Slave. Who is the titular Satan's Slave? Are we not all? Is it not the Pauls?
Societe.
Societe? Probably.
Societe.
Societe Chalamet? I suspect so. Satan's Slave was directed by Norman J. Warren, who directed Inseminoid.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Insidious for some reason. I have no idea why my brain was going to make that leap.
Maybe he's James Wan, after all.
Oh, shit.
Nope, he directed Inseminoid.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, here's the plot to Inseminoid. A crew of interplanetary archaeologists is threatened. Yeah, the crew, you see, that's singular, so it's fine. Archaeologist is threatened.
Yeah.
When an ancient creature impregnates one of their members, causing her to turn homicidal and murder them one by one.
Oh,
We're in safe hands, I feel.
It feels like this is the natural next step for Inseminoid.
I think so. The film was written by Nick Malley, who worked on Superman 1 and 2, The Shining, Star Wars, and The Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
In the makeup department.
Yes. All right, then.
This is his only screenplay.
Oh.
Only, in fact, it isn't.
Lipstick.
It actually isn't, because I wrote all of that and then realised I was still looking at the page for Inseminoid. Satan's Slave was written by David McGillivray. McGillicuddy.
Yeah.
Who wrote Schizo.
Oh.
And he didn't do makeup for jack shit.
Not even his wife when she asked him.
Point blank. Can you give me a hand with? And they threw himself out the window.
And she went, God, he's so honest. I love that and respect it.
That's my man.
That's McGilly, whatever you are.
That's why I'm proud to call myself Mrs. McGill.
Darling.
Babe. The makeup for Satan's Slave was done by Nick Malley, the writer of Inseminoid.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know him.
Oh, there he is, yeah. Malley has just 2 acting credits, incidentally, Satan's Slave and Inseminoid.
and who was he? Whom did he play?
Oh, it's some... I think he was like cult member.
Oh, okay, one of the very,
Nick Malley.
conspicuously short cult members.
That's right. He's a living Ewok. That's why they hired him for Star Wars.
Oh my God, he's a treasure.
He is a treasure, and he needs to be protected from himself. Now, I'm talking an awful lot about Inseminoid as if I had no info about the production of this film, but I fucking do somehow.
What?
This has a weirdly extensive Wikipedia page.
Aw, something's got to.
Something has to use up the bandwidth. The film was a production of director Norman J. Warren's newly formed production company, Monumental Pictures. It's a good start.
That's nice. Monumental Pictures.
Monumental Pictures, and our first picture is Satan's Slave.
It's going to have cameras, and it's going to have lights, and it's going to have you, and you, and you, all you dames.
Even you, mister. And he's alone in a room. It was principally funded by Warren and Les Young, his camera operator.
I know, I saw Les Young on the credits and thought, what a wonderful thing to see on screen. Les
Young. Oh, that's like a badass's name from the 60s.
He's a bit of all right. He loves his mum. Don't tell him that you go for the opposite football team, no. He's a weird one.
Because he can be a bit fucking Andy, you know what I mean?
He'll cut you.
He'll cut you. You'll cut your face. Don't mess with Les Young. This was Warren's first horror film. They decided to make a horror film because their budget could only reasonably make a horror film or an erotic thriller, and they decided that a horror film would have a longer shelf life. Because porn gets old fast, Paul.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? Why not do both at the same time? That's what horror a lot of the time is. Wait. Was this directed by an Italian man in the 70s?
Hang on a minute. Somebody try and get that mustache off of Nick Mallett. No, he was the writer who didn't write this. Norman J. Warren, that's the one.
Yeah.
I've got so many notes about Inseminoid is the problem.
I don't understand why.
One of the producers sold his shares in Mothercare to finance the film, and another sold his car and mortgaged his home to make Satan's Slave.
Again, understandable. I thought you were going to say sold his shirt. Shut off your back, son, for Les Young.
How much are you giving me for this? £1? Well, it's really worth a lot more than that, but I need to make Inseminoid. No, I'm making Satan's Slave. Oh, God.
Wait, you were the guy who made Inseminoid? Here's £10.
I'll take it for free, mate. Great. Wait.
Love your film, mate, dickhead.
They couldn't actually afford Michael Gough, is the thing, but he agreed to take less money after reading the script and hearing Warren's personal vision for the film. What a monumental vision that would have been.
And you're going to be in it. And you, mister.
It's just alone in a room with Michael Gough. And you. Oh, well, I can't really refuse, can I?
So eccentric.
Oh, he was paid £300 for his participation, which is in 2019 money. How much, do you think?
Or
£300.
£1,000.
Embarrassingly close, £2,535.
Whoa. Michael Gough, that's like a semi-pro football player who during the week paints people's houses.
Jesus Christ. Okay, just this straight from Wikipedia. I know I'm delaying the inevitable here, but this is gold. The film was largely shot in and around the county house of Baron and Baroness de Vuse in Pierbright, Surrey. They had so little money that Gough and co-star Martin Potter had to provide their own costumes, and Gough was given no accommodation, so he stayed with a friend in Barnes.
Okay.
Director Warren remembers, we would pick him up each day at around 5:45 a.m. He would work with us all day, often until midnight, and then we would drive him back to his friend's house, stopping on the way to buy fish and chips.
Aww.
I bet they made him pay for it as well.
Yeah. So, like, out of pocket, Michael Gough probably made tuppence, depending on how many days he had to film.
Oh, depending on how many rounds of fish and chips he had to buy for the entire crew. Yeah.
That's when what's the director's name again?
Oh, Warren.
That's when Warren Warrants and his whole family would show up, and they'd be like, "Oh, you see, they haven't eaten in days, Mr. Gough."
These are our costume designers, Timmyette.
Working around the clock, Mr. Gough.
Particularly insulting, seeing as he has to provide his own costume.
Yeah.
Taking a piss.
It's all very frightful, he says, handing over the 7 pence for 50 fish and chips.
Fuck yeah. Oh, with cigarettes in them. Best. Warren edited the film himself and apparently cut a lot of the dialogue scenes. According to Warren, the main problem with the film was that the plot was very complicated and actually rather boring. So we just cut out complete sequences where people were explaining things. And a lot of the film doesn't make sense because of those cuts, but it was less complicated and no one ever questioned the plot.
Do you know the one thing I definitely thought watching this film, Paul?
Yeah.
It made perfect sense.
It was fine, yeah. I can only imagine it doesn't make sense at all unless you know that the Countess was really, secretly, the Baroness of wherever the fuck. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it's fine.
These old men want to kill a young woman, it's fine.
Yeah, it's Field of England, mate.
You don't need to explain that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this sentence, though. To boost the film's distribution prospects in the Far East, reshoots were held to increase the levels of gore and nudity. Oh, they fucking love that out there, man.
In the Far East, Norwich.
We're breaking into the Eastern market. This film has a themes section on Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yep, film critic Adam Locke argues that the
Goldmine.
effect of York's car journey is comparable to time travel, defining it as a reprogramming for the audience with memories and associations disconnected from the urban and from the modern. In psychogeographical terms of the relationship between the individual and space, there is a cliched and yet interesting idea of the road leading to nowhere. Sir, this is Satan's slave. Get down from that chair.
I can't get on board with that at all. I have no idea what that was referring to.
It's basically cribbing notes from like Kim Newman, who said that every great horror movie starts with the characters driving out into the country where horrible things happen. That's all.
Yeah. When you
said
said
it in 5 paragraphs.
did he say York's car journey?
Oh yeah, who the fuck is York? I assume it's her. She's the.
Because I couldn't get out of my head the guy from Austin Powers, Michael York.
Yes, Michael York, who played Basil Exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he the uncle and the aunt?
He might have been all of
Probably.
the characters.
He was
It's
all- he
very,
tends-
very often the case in the 60s.
He tends to do that, and do you know what? Michael Gough had to provide his costume as well, so it's really, really sore at this point.
Well, look, Satan's Slave received mixed reviews. Stephen Green at Flesh and Blood magazine writes that the film is head and shoulders above the stalk and slash tedium, which would dominate the American industry within 5 years. I can't relate to that, Paul. Can you?
I have no idea who you are.
No, I don't know I don't know what he's on about.
No.
We haven't any experience of that particular genre. Michael Gough is a 3-man.
Aw.
Get in the bin, Alfred.
Lovely, lovely man.
Lovely man.
Best bit of my Friday night by far. Michael Gough
With his mustache.
with an incredible mustache. Fucking Bosstache.
It's separately billed. Oh god. The film was commercially successful and was re-released 5 fucking times in the 1970s.
Wow. 70s? What's wrong with you?
I know, a decade that had Shaft in it. What are you doing?
God. Was one of those Troll 2.
Re-released 10 years before it was made. It was a bold move made by Dino De Laurentiis. Why not? So, Paul, you necromantic.
Yes.
What's one thing about Satan's Slave that made you want to stab it in the brain?
There was a man in it, and his name was Stephen, Paul, and his jacket was tailored so tight that it made him run like the foppiest British man I've ever met. And they had him run a couple of times in the movie, and
Is Stephen the killer?
Stephen is the killer.
Yeah, I call him
spoilers.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. Yes, that's pretty good. We were trying to place him. He had a bit of a Cillian Murphy intensity to him. You know,
Yeah.
if it was Cillian Murphy.
Brian Cox, the actor, incidentally, everyone, not the renowned astrologer.
Yeah.
Astronomer.
Yeah.
Imagine
I
this
did
knife
wonder.
stabbing you in the kidneys.
I already have. It's getting a bit
It's the largest.
Gallagher brothers there.
All right, look.
Same
the
man.
movie starts with
Yeah.
a friendly British goat man. Every movie started in the 70s with a goat man.
Yeah.
And genuinely a very cooperative member of the production team being naked and held down on a table because the actor they wanted did not show up.
See, I thought you were going to say a genuinely cooperative sacrifice victim because she lies there nice and patient while they set everything up, and then when they get the knife out, Michael Gough goes, "Okay, now you can panic," and she goes, "Oh, good, thank you." No.
She was the producer of the movie. You should have seen the actor that they wanted to get. She would have been writhing about all over the place.
Yeah, so she
look-
she was busy producing right up until the moment she was sacrificed.
She was signing off permission forms to use Michael Gough's mustache.
Clothes for everything.
Right up until the end. Clothes for their fucking napkins after lunch. It was unbelievable they wrote that into the contract. and signed
Terrible.
it.
But he's so into cinema. He said, "You know what,
Yes.
mate? I'm Michael Gough, and I love movies. and I say, have the clothes off my back. Have the clothes off my fucking back. You absolute gems."
Look, we got to move on. They sacrifice her to Gamba, and to the mighty Gamba,
To Lug Lug.
the devil god of evil. And we start with Freckly Felicity Kendall and her guy, British gent Brian Cox.
Yeah.
She's too tired for any exploitative sex.
Oh, please, he says. And they have some lovely, well, he has some lovely button-down English chit-chat, which obviously gets her juices flowing.
Might as well finish it off.
Finish me off, you mean? Don't look at me like that. I know you're trying to get me drunk.
Now, why would I want to do that?
For the same reason you lured me to your country retreat in the first place.
I just thought you might enjoy it.
Just between you and me, I have.
And,
Oh,
and then
fuck yeah.
oh no, he turns out to be a killman.
Oh no, he Vinnie
eventually.
Joneses her in the door. And then he stabs her plastic dummy. She hates that.
With a wooden knife. Hard
So, yeah.
cut from scary Gothic mansion to bleak, drab London tower block.
Fuck yeah, atmosphere. And we've got our main character, Jenny Agutter,
Yeah.
and her boyfriend, Arthur Pand, and their excellent duvet they've got together.
I wish I'd have done any just gone over my notes once because I had a
Me
a
too.
name for that guy, the boyfriend. He was lovely. Oh
Yeah?
no, it's not actually very funny. It's just reminding me of Richard Beckinsale. Do you remember Rising Damp and Porridge?
Oh yeah, Richard Beckinsale. That's a good shout. All right.
And then I started reading about his tragic life.
That's unfortunate. Let's go with Richard Pan. And
Dickie
yeah,
Penn.
she explains that she's going on a trip to visit her uncle, Culty McMurderyou, played by Michael Gough,
Yeah.
and her parents, Rasputin and Vanessa Redgrave. Amazing facial hair on Rasputin. A forward-facing beard in every sense of the word.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds great, says the boyfriend. Sure you don't want me to come along? No? Okay, well, I'm going to stay here being genuinely interesting.
Yeah, you take this bracelet. Where'd you get this? Huh?
Off me, ma'am.
So, yeah, they get into
God
a
bless
car crash on the way to Uncle McMurderyou. Agatha survives and goes off to find an ambulance, and the car just fucking explodes, killing our third woman and first man of the film.
Yeah. But not before the husband
Yeah.
holds up the mum's head. And she's already dead.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And he goes, she's okay.
No, she's fine.
She needs a
Typical
lie
dad.
down. Needs a lemsip.
Worst things happen at sea. So, Uncle Alfred is here with his mustache and his saucy secretary. Yeah, and they get introduced, and Uncle Alfred's just like, let's get you some aspirin and get you to bed. Oh, your parents are all dead, by the way.
Yeah, never mind, lass.
Terribly, terribly dead. But
Keep it all inside, eh?
Let's get you to bed. Stiff upper lip. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get through it. When will you be heading home, incidentally? We just want to plan the weekend. Yeah. Brian Cox is there. He's her cousin? Like Jenny Agutter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he wants to check in on her.
Mm.
But his father's saucy secretary yells at him until he kisses her into submission.
Yeah. Oh.
Give me your lower jaw.
It now belongs to me. And yeah,
All your jaw
she's,
belong to us.
She's and now she's docile and therefore the perfect lady.
Fuck
and,
yeah.
And he goes in and starts to woo his cousin. Apparently,
Yes,
we're told.
Absolutely. He stares at her for a bit, and then in the morning, Alfred comes to visit her, and it's a good thing he's here because he's good with orphans and murdering women.
Yeah.
And he points out that the funeral is tonight. Great.
Yeah, okay.
This is all happening rather quick.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be just having dinner at this stage. But no, we're planning my newly dead parents' funeral. Fantastic.
Michael Gough wasn't even in the script. Michael Gough, he actually killed her parents in real life.
Oh,
so
shit.
that she'd know how to act properly about it. He was really charitable, really thoughtful actor.
Yeah. Well, he goes
And he
up.
bought fish and chips.
He bought fish and chips for everyone, and I think the Academy has refused to acknowledge that, and it's a crime. So, Brian Cox shows up, and he's here to be less reassuring than Alfred. He says, here, let me show you the grounds. We'll start with that tree that killed your parents, just along here.
Yeah.
They take one of the exposition-y strolls that the guy should have cut
Yeah.
around the grounds, and he tells her that she has the shining.
Yeah.
So she whips her hair around a bit and sees another woman getting murdered. That's
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah.
Does anything nice happen here?
Before that, yeah, but they had a picnic, but it doesn't look as good sheathed in flames happening, like in an effigy on top of this trunk. That's true.
I can see her. She's pruning the rose bush. It's spring and it needs cutting back before the growth period.
The
sorry.
embarrassment. Well, anyway, Brian Cox is gone. He got bored and wandered off. And
he wandered off.
she comes to you and goes, "Oh, okay, no, genuinely has gone." And he goes, "Well, look, I thought you were following me, or in the middle of my premonition that I told you I was having. Yes, in the middle of that, and then you weren't. And I thought I could have gone back to find you, but look, do you want a kiss? That seems to work usually.
Let's have a great big kiss." So they bury her parents in the garden next to the bins. And then, once again, following a theme, Brian Cox's lead, they just leave her at the graveside. She'll be fine.
She knows what she's doing.
Best not
Okay.
get involved. the way she's tearing up the ground and trying to dig him up. She's got to work that out, for herself.
She's grief-ridden and very heavily sedated. She's going to be fine.
Can't and shouldn't try to stop her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is it important, this? The secretary steals a key off of Albert. I don't think
None of this is important, Paul. We could get
None
through
of
the
this
plot
is
in the next
important.
minute. Is the thing.
Yeah, okay, so that night, a mysterious man sneaks into Agatha's room and takes the amulet that Richard Pand gave her. What's he going to do with that? So Arthur Pand jumps off his flat.
Yeah.
Was it black magic? No, he's just a British man in the 70s.
He had to take a lift down from the 38th floor of his tower block apartment. Someone had done a piss in the corner.
Yeah. There was the decaying welfare state in the corner of the room. And a sense of fascism growing in the air.
Yeah.
And he just thought, well, fuck it, And the guy doing black magic was like, oh, that's handy.
Yeah, phew. I saved one of my spell slots.
It's actually very little need or call for an assassin in 70s Britain.
Yeah.
Just
turn the mirror unto themselves. Most people, I think you'll find, can't take that.
Agatha has more sleazy visions of the 70s. Now some kinky girl-on-girl action, and then girl-in-girl action, and then snakes. Is Stanley about?
Stanley, I thought fucking Glenn or Glenda at this point. It was fucking mental, especially the scoring to this movie.
Oh my god!
They had a chart.
Yeah. They got Michael Gough to do it. Very accommodating man.
What do you think of modern music, Michael Gough? It's loud and kids. Yes, you could do this.
That's perfect. Do it loud and kids. So yeah, she wakes up and has it off with her cousin Brian Cox because it's 70s England. It's got something for everyone. Saucy Secretary tells Jenny Agatha that, the family's ancestor is a bloody witch, and now Brian Cox and Alfred are trying to bring her back in Agatha's body. Not very good, is it?
Oh, God.
She says
on top of everything.
Yeah. She says the only way to bring her back is in the body of a direct descendant. You don't mean me. I do. Yes.
After many attempts, he discovered that the only satisfactory way to resurrect the dead is through the body of a direct descendant. You don't mean me. Catherine, you...
Oh!
What a surprise.
Oh, no! You know what? Never mind. I was just joking. I'm just going to let this happen. So...
Oh, fuck.
It turns out that young Brian Cox saw Alfred murder his mother, and so he began engaging in a series of vicious scenes that play out really well in the Far East. So that's his backstory.
He's wearing a Norwich FC shirt whilst he's doing it.
Beating them to death with a brick on a chain. So, well, I need to run away immediately, obviously. Oh no, after dinner. So they all have dinner.
Yeah.
And,
why not now, she genuinely asks in the film. Oh,
young kids today.
Do you know how much Michael Gough has given to this? Just so you could have dinner with him.
You don't know that Thursday is ribeye day. You just fucking sit down. Bitch. All right.
70s Britain. Yeah, all right, God.
But oh no, Saucy Secretary's... Yeah, that's right, it's 70s Britain, so it's probably more beans with cut up sausages in it.
Delicacy.
Can't miss that. Love Thursdays.
Oh, I hate foreign food.
Oh no, though. Saucy Secretary spent too long packing her tiny bag, and now Brian Cox fucking gets her.
Yeah.
And he gets Agatha for the ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all right, though, because Agatha manages to get Cox in the eye with a nail file, and she kills him in the eye.
Right in the eye.
Yeah.
Right in the eye. Famous Daniel Stern line. And I think he was echoing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you stab me in the eye with a nail file?
Whoever it was William the Conqueror for, I genuinely can't remember. One of the Howards? I don't give a fuck. Anyway.
Yeah, Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. But oh shit, her dad Rasputin is here and alive, and he sounds like Roddy McDowall, and I don't trust anything he's doing.
Oh, Jesus, and he looks like Andy McDowell.
He looks like Andy McDowell, and it's just a troubling sight.
Oh, you can trust me, I am Andy McDowell, he says, and that's when you know things are about to pop off, and they do. You're having a dream. You had a dream, they said.
Yes,
a
it was all
definite
a dream.
Yeah.
Anyway, look. They do a great deal of work to get her convinced that everything is okay, and then just fucking reveal it to her again. Hey, look, Brian Cox is dead. You're an asshole. What was that about?
Michael Gough just wanted to be... He hadn't had his reveal yet, and he wanted to make sure he could have a reveal while sitting calmly in a chair, because fucking hell, he's worked hard. Do you know how many bags of fish and chips he had to carry from Norwich to
give him this
to get this production running?
If anything, give him this. Look, all my robed buddies are here. Oh yeah, the end. So...
Yeah. That's it. She's doomed.
Yeah, she's doomed. Like all of Britain in the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So, Paul, what did you make of... What was this? Satan's Slave?
Satan's Slave, Paul.
Inseminoid.
Oh, God, it was For me, it was a tad on the dull side, this one.
Yes.
It had a couple of fun moments, but it wasn't. It definitely was light on the laughs, which, I'm sure was intended.
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing,
so points for that. I will say there was at times I had Wicker Man vibes, which I think it's just like being in rural England and just how shit England is in general. Yeah.
So shit.
It's just so fucking bollocks, isn't it? And just God, that the boyfriend Richard Beckinsale, his thing of staying in bed all day. All I thought was, good on you, mate. What else is there?
Smoke in there, cover it in soot. It's just, oh God.
Yeah.
This movie has a skin rash. Britain in the 70s was a skin rash. So
that was only there 3 days a week.
That's a topical gag.
Fuck yeah, I had to make up for me saying race riots earlier.
Did you? Jesus, I missed that.
Well, I did, and I meant, incoming, but it was
right.
It sounded like I was saying race riots in the 70s, and also, one would argue that they weren't race riots.
There you go. Someone could even maybe write a dissertation about it if they wanted to.
Probably.
Not a dissertation, more a long essay. Yeah.
Yeah, a long essay. I mean, I didn't about that, but I did about other things.
Oh, I thought you did. And I remember you getting notes from Gavin about race riots. Oh, shit! Okay, I misread that dynamic entirely.
No, you cut to me just on next PM of England. England, we've seceded.
You zoom in on the race riots of the 1970s, and you just keep going, and you get Goodman in the middle. Like the fucking end of The Shining.
I'm one of the elite, he says. So, this movie, it had a few good things going for it, and it had potential, but it also, again, had that feel of, might have needed a human touch with the directing or the performances or something. Other than Michael Gough, obviously, he was just stellar.
Yeah, I think so. I kind of enjoyed it, but very much like last week, there's some really great stuff watered down by these long stretches of expository dialogue. But there is some wild stuff. There's lots of gore.
Yes.
There's shamelessly exploitative nudity. There's over-the-top acting from some people, especially, Martin Porter as Brian Cox.
Yeah.
He was amazing. I also enjoy the fact that this is kind of like a time capsule of 70s British horror. You've got British horror, but with a sleazy Italian exploitation streak in it.
Yeah, I definitely wrote that down.
It's like Mario Bava directing a Dennis Wheatley story.
Yes.
It's just got that lovely kind of clash of cultures going on of just smut and somewhat chilling British horror. And I enjoyed that.
There's a cut to a shot of Stephen kissing and then stabbing this unknown woman to death to prove a point that the secretary is making about how evil Stephen is. There's lots of blood.
Evil Stephen.
Evil Stevens. And there's lots of blood, and then there's a nip, and then blood, and then we get the boob again. And I thought, this was directed by an Italian. Come on.
Come on now.
Come on.
Somebody wrestle that man down and get him to confess what he is.
But I will say, comparing the two, Satan's Slave and Primeval, for me, Primeval had way more of the hilarious Dark Place moments for me. And the slower moments were staged in that inhuman way that Dark Place has, mimicked. Where like even when nothing was happening, I was still finding it really amusing just because of how, say, the cop looked or how the characters were looking at each other. Whereas this had a few more genuinely good moments, some better gore.
Yes. It's a tough comparison. I think I lean a little more Satan's Slave.
Okay.
I think the aesthetic is just more my kind of thing.
I would go Primeval.
Fair enough. And there's a Paulie versus episode to be happened of Satan's Slave versus Primeval. Which of our friends do we get to watch the fucking things?
Fuck me.
And this week,
let's keep our friends.
The jury didn't show up again, and we've received more death threats. All right, well, look, it's still a pretty good laugh. This one, it's got some dull bits, but it's only 90 minutes long, and it's quite entertaining.
And there are plenty of good things.
Yeah, let's get to those. I will start with the cartoon opening. Only calling it a cartoon isn't quite right. It's just an image that changes every couple of credits.
Yeah.
But it's like a skull, and it gets like a face that becomes a skull, and it's good fun. It sets up the mood.
I did like the opening, the production logo for Brent Warner Productions, because it was very much a Brent Warner Productions.
Brent Warner Productions.
By Brent Warner. Written, directed, produced, shat out by Brent Warner. a Brent Warner joint.
Brent Warner.
And it was very colourful and like da 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 da. Welcome to the sleazy movies. And then that colour just was drained out immediately for 1970s Britain.
Oh, love it. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that contrast. Okay, I like the fact that when they're walking the grounds, she sees a creepy statue in the middle of the lawn, and it kind of zooms in, and it's unclear what it is. I think it's meant to be like a chair or something, because later on we see her like superimposed on top of it, burning. But I don't know, it's just an odd little feature that kind of put the chills up me. I like that. That had a feel of like the ghost stories for Christmas that they used to make in the 70s. Something good about that.
Nice. In the scene where we first have Brian Cox and this American lady, and she's giving her story about she moved to England to get away from, was it her parents or something? Yeah. Her like some dark past. And he's pouring more wine, and he goes, well, we might as well finish it off. Might as well finish it off. And and she goes, finish me off, you mean? And I just found that kind of, before, you know.
Yeah, before
he did all the murders. But then
he did a lot of murders, mate.
Yeah. And he goes, well, you know, he says something, and she's like, oh yeah, you just want to get me drunk for the same reason you lured me to your mansion out in the middle of nowhere. And Stephen goes, I just thought you might enjoy it. And it started the sentence with a that plumminess, Paul, was delightful.
Oh God, who wouldn't want to get murdered by him?
It's his jacket cinched in so tight, can't do words no more.
Oh my God. After Brian Cox has not Brian Cox, after Richard Beckinsale, dear, has what did I call him? Arthur Pand. After Arthur Pand has jumped off the roof and has fallen to his death. The gross details of his body are just the worst. Oh my God,
yeah.
Just burst elbows and knees and legs bent all the wrong ways. It's just, ugh.
I've got that whole sequence.
That was fun.
He from starting with him cutting his hand and then getting in the lift and screaming with the voodoo.
Good escalation.
The voodoo hoodoo going on.
The voodoo you do.
Oh God, let's not. And then he's on the roof or on a window ledge, and as he topples off, it like goes from front on perspective to first person perspective as he spins about in the sky. And then it's just a sudden like splat as he hits the floor. And like mashed up face and broken leg. And then the full shot of his body just mangled on the floor. It's really horrible.
It really is quite horrible. That's an effective little moment there.
Yeah. Back to this wonderful scene of Stephen murdering this lady at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Like he engages. Was this directed by an Italian with some like sexy violence? And he they're about to have sex, but then he starts smothering her with a pillow, and he's got but he has real horrible ferocity in his face when he's doing this. There's just something really visceral about it.
Yeah. I will say that my flatmate did only watched a few moments of this film with me, and it was the opening moment. So yeah, somewhere around the sex crime, he did wander off.
Which is, he's never going to have a film podcast, Paul.
Look, if we turned away every time there was a really problematic bit of nudity, we'd have fucking stopped in episode 5.
Assassin's Creed. No, Jupiter Ascending? I forget which. It all blurs together. Horrible past.
I love it. Okay, I'll have that when Brian Cox is stabbed in the eye with a nail file, it looked great.
Yeah. It really did, yeah. And it's very surprising.
It was surprising, and it really did look like there was a nail file in his fucking eye. And it's that great thing of a practical special effect. I don't completely know how they did it, because it doesn't look like a fake eye.
Yeah. And he's looking around, and he it looks good. It looks fucking good when it happens.
It does.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's great.
Love it.
So back to Stephen killing this woman at the start.
Best scene in the movie.
Yeah. It's just, when he stabs her finally, he obviously has a fake knife. And they tried, they do some clever cutting to obfuscate what's happened, that it's a fake knife. So the first time he stabs her from above, he kind of thrusts down, and then we cut to this blade really lamely dragging across the body. And then the second time the knife, he does it, like he thrusts, and then it cuts to the knife hitting the body. But it's very obviously a wooden, like a prop knife hitting a fake body, because it doesn't pierce skin, and it kind of knocks when it hits the body.
Yeah. Just kind of gets shoved through.
Yeah. It doesn't even pierce skin. It just stops because it's two solid objects.
Do you have anything that's not in the first few minutes?
I finished and I cleaned myself up and I had an energy to write down a couple more. 70s pubes, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Lots of those.
It was a different time.
Yeah.
A better time? Only in that respect. Literally only in that respect.
Because it's very much, it's a microcosm of the 70s. You got 70s pubes, but then lots of horrible stuff happening around the 70s pubes by men, and it's best not to think about it.
It's ironic, really, because after Thatcher, things in general would just be a lot less well maintained, except
the pubes.
Those.
Yeah,
everyone. You see, that's the thing is nobody's out there funding the NHS, so they just stay at home styling their pubes all day.
Jesus,
come on, comrades.
Do you really want Thatcher's legacy to be smooth vadges?
Look, we're both sat here with bald pussies.
Oh yeah, like head to toe.
Are we any better off? Are we? Vote for the 70s to come back. That's right. Vote Corbyn.
David Cameron would like you to be happy with your shaved pussy, but are you going to let him tell you what to do with your shaved pussy?
He ran with it in 2015 and he won. And I think that's a damning indictment of this country and its attitude.
Can't believe he got
pubes.
away with that.
Can't believe it.
Said hug a shaved pussy was his slogan.
There were banners and posters and badges. I have one.
George Osborne was
it.
singing it from the rooftops, and everyone said, "Yeah, I'd love to have a beer with him." I don't know what that is.
What part of that sentence? The first word. Yeah. What is that? Get out.
What, you're saying like you don't have a soul, and he just looks at you. And then I have a history degree.
Okay.
That actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And a shaved pussy, and he pulls away his tearaway trousers. And
he's got one.
And he won. He won an election. He won every election.
Landslide, biggest election victory in history. So, I did like the open mouth placato kiss.
Oh yeah.
Where the secretary goes, "You but," and before she can get the word out, he just clamps down.
Oh. Yeah, that is his technique. He does do it later to Felicity Kendall or whatever her name is. Yeah. So that's just his mouth method.
His lips were pursed, so I think he just squishes his face in. He's a gaunt man, but he's clearly got a lot of elasticity around the cheeks, because it gloms over. When Karen or whoever her name is rooting around Stephen's desk, the portrait behind her is looking down on her as if it was there for that reason, of like just looking down on anyone at the desk.
I love it. It's a great concentration aid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is the pleasure of Stephen worth the pain? Is the best naffest line of all time. Fuck me, what a stupid naff country England is.
I loved his relationship with his secretary of just needling her all the time. It was like the relationship from that movie. The one that the Gorehouse Greats from like year 2. That was about the dad who dies and leaves his daughters the inheritance. Yeah. Shit, these
fucking bitch, Dad.
I'm gonna murder you. God, all these movies are so blandly named. I have no chance of fucking remembering. It'd be like Thrill Kill.
Yeah.
It might genuinely be called Thriller. I don't know. Anyway.
Jesus is taint.
I love that movie.
It's got the taint of Jesus all over it, boy. And then, there were plenty more lines that were just really brilliantly shit in an English accent. Catherine, John is dead. Oh, no. Yes.
Shit.
And it's drizzling. I was going to water the petunias. Well, you don't need to anymore. It's raining.
Let's talk about Gough. Let's talk about his beautiful, gorgeous voice.
Yeah.
Which is just wonderful and really great at delivering lines like
If you've ruined my plans, Stephen, I'll kill you. I can promise you that.
My God, wonderful. That was amazing. I love that. What is it? I've always admired your ability to suffer in silence. Never change.
There's a bit where he's like, the police would like to ask you some questions. And she's like, no. And he's like, never mind. And he's got the biggest fucking smile on his face.
Yeah.
Just like nothing is wrong in the entire world. It's just, it's wonderful. And I also love the costumes that he apparently provides himself. The long red robes are really good.
The way he lived his life, apparently.
Stained with fish and chips.
Yeah. the fish and chips of others, of lessers.
Of lesser men.
Yeah. But he was
lesser men. The Michael Gough story.
Definitely his biography. Let's find it and promote it. The reveal that he gets at the end where they've been convincing her that it's a dream. And it's like, well, I'd like to call my boyfriend and make sure he's, reassure myself he's still there. Of course, the phone is behind the curtain. And she goes and and it's Stephen with a knife in him. It's Brian Cox, the astronomer, with a knife in him, and he's just sitting there, and I think he very slowly gets up from the chair, and he's like, "Yes, you see." and then it's basically you're gonna die now, but there's no evil. It's like a villain that I'm comforted by at the same time because he's just so fucking cool and mustachioed and warm.
Just the 70s in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's how it's the Tory story, isn't it? It's how they get you.
It's how they get you. You just want them to win somehow. You want to be their slave.
It's just him and Jacob Rees-Mogg, mate. Jacob Rees-Mogg. Fuck me, I can't even get his name out. It's so fucking double-barreled.
It's so fucking stupid and bad that it's just impossible. And also, every time you get the Jacob out, you picture his face, and you're too infuriated to actually put anything together.
Yeah.
He just looks like a cartoon vampire. I don't know what this country's doing. They're so obviously the bad guys. They look like cartoons. They look like the fucking bad guys from He-Man.
I know.
Oh my God.
Nothing. They don't know anything about you or what we do.
You can't relate to anything that hasn't been alive for hundreds of years. They don't even remember the Carpathian era.
I speak Carpathian, I know. Nanny taught it to me. Fuck you, dying Satan's slave, you prick.
Get killed by an exploitative 70s porn director. Right now.
Yeah, my favourite bit of Satan's Slave was when Jacob Rees-Mogg actually got murdered in it. Actually him. And then they cut it from the movie because no one would believe it because of him.
Because nobody gave a shit. Oh, God. Wonderful. Well, that's it for Satan's Slave. As you can tell, we enjoyed it quite a bit. One better thing, I'd suggest Crimson Peak. Has similar vibes and is a very good film.
Marcy, Martha, May, Marlene.
Yep, that'll do. At least one of those. I assume we didn't ask the OG team because why the fuck would we?
No, busy. We do these when we're very, very busy, and also who the fuck would have seen Satan's Slave?
Yeah, or this, whatever one we're doing.
If we'd have done Inseminoid, then different story, obviously.
Oh
but
shit, yeah.
You got to do the ones no one's expecting and the ones no one has seen.
Absolutely. When Inseminoid is too on brand for us.
Yeah, I think when you're doing a film podcast, Paul, you really have to go for the. Yeah. You have to realise that the more people listen, the more that they're aware of the movies. And what you want to do is say, no, fuck off. Actually, we're going to do the ones you haven't seen and can't relate to.
Fuck off, audience. This is what you're getting. And that's, I think, what people respect most about us.
Yeah.
Well, that's just about going to do it for Satan's Slave, Paul. How can those lovely people who should fuck off find out all about us?
They should fuck off all the way around the world and then come back to
again.
us, but like behind us.
Yeah.
And creep up on us and go, we're still here and we don't agree with all of the things you say, but some of the things are pretty good, and that's why we're going to listen to the next episode. And we might even leave you a 5-star review on iTunes if you're that way inclined.
That's so generous of them.
And then we'll turn around and we'll hug you, and you wouldn't have been expecting the hug because we've been so standoffish until now. And then once we're close and you can feel our hot breath on your ear, it's getting pretty personal, and you think, oh pretty God, where's this guy? And we'll say, Twitter at OGTPod, Facebook OGTPod. You can send us an email at gmail@ogtpod@gmail.com. Send me the DMs, slide right down there.
Oh, get in those DMs.
And I promise. Shut up. Shut up. And then you start pushing me away, and I go, no, shut up, I haven't finished. And then you run. For God's sake, run.
Cox.
Just run. Because Michael Shannon is there with his arms open, and honestly, at this point, he's the lesser of two evils. And from there, you can you can listen to us on Patreon, on Spotify, in the safety of Michael Shannon's arms. Embrace the Shannon.
Hiding from Michael Gough's mustache. I'm Paul Stachio.
Oh, I'm tired, and I don't know where I am.
I want to go to bed. And remember, the one good thing about Satan's Slave is that Alfred murders women.